It's Gigi no Ri After Dark, the third one. But if you are a normie, like you're not one of our patrons, this may be the first one you've heard, because I believe, if this isn't a total disaster, that we'll be releasing this to our general audience as a taste. First taste is free of one of the things you get when you become a patron of Gigi no Ri.
One of the many perks.
Yes. There's so many.
There's like
more
two.
than one?
There's like at least two, right?
Yeah, there's at least two.
Less than 10, more than one.
Yeah, so
That kind of range.
You get to be in our Discord and chat with the cool kids and get access to stuff that is relevant to our campaign. So I'll put like our character sheets, and I'm going to put up the write-up to this dungeon and stuff that I ran tonight. And you can just use that in your game. It's fine. It's usable right now.
You can get swag. You can totally have swag. We have swag.
There's swag. Swag is available. Anyway, so Gigi no Ri After Dark, it's a time when technically, by default, we talk about what we just did. So the game we just played. But we can talk about anything, and it goes till question mark.
And it's usually later at night when I'm already asleep.
You are Tim. I am Daniel. Who are you?
Yes.
I'm Jim. I'm always Jim. And Tim's joining us tonight. Yeah.
He's
This is my first After Dark where I'm not asleep.
Late night, baby.
It's party time because Tim's here.
Watch out.
It's going to be real. It's going to be possibly the realest. Anyway, so let's talk about what we did tonight. Brief recap is that this is Dungeon Academy. So if you've not been listening to our actual plays, Ramanan. If you've not been listening to our...
We see you.
Yeah.
Shots fired.
Yeah. If you haven't been, we've been playing in a campaign that's basically dungeon schools. During the week, they're in school to become dungeoneers of various kinds. And then every week, they go into a virtual dungeon to compete against their peers and also to get experience for the real world.
And now he doesn't have to listen to it.
Nope. So we played another session of that tonight. And we're playing using 5e, but everything else is just Daniel's nonsense. So that's how it's been going today. And so what do you guys think about tonight in general and compared to previous sessions?
Well, I'm probably not the best gauge of this because I've been having trouble recently really identifying with my character and falling.
Why don't you get a new character then?
Look, I just can't just throw him away.
Yeah, you can.
I get really attached.
Well, you said you're not
committed.
into him, but yet you're attached to him?
I said I'm having trouble really identifying and getting into the character. Maybe that's not the character and it's me.
Yeah.
I
As
feel
a
like we're
person.
digging kind of deep tonight. This is
Listen,
this
we
is good.
start 1,000 miles below the surface of the earth.
So I want to
10,000
hear
leagues.
about what you think your character is then, and why it's hard for you to get in touch with that. This is where we hold hands and talk about our feelings.
Because I was never like a prideful jockey type person. I was always a kind of a nerd slash I'm going to break the ice and bridge the gap between jocks and nerds type of people. And I don't really know how to play a jerk.
Despite
I'm
your
trying
muscular
really
frame.
hard. Despite.
Yeah.
Who can say?
Why don't you just make another character who's like you if you find that easier?
Oh, because then it'd just be like me. And that seems kind of boring, right?
It's hard.
Unless
It's a
people
tough
think
crowd.
I'm generally awesome and great, and then I should just play me, right? I don't know. But no, I think it was more just my mindset in life than it is, and my lack of creativity. I'm trying to get into the swing of things. Oh, I did like tonight better just because being able to go straight into the dungeon, and that felt more familiar to me, exploring and dungeoneering as D&D goes.
We fear change. No, I know what you mean. There's a certain rhythm you get in when you're in the dungeon. It just feels good. You know what you're doing.
Yeah.
There's default actions that have predictable consequences, and then the unpredictability is also fun because you know what kind of unpredictability you're dealing with.
Truth.
There's the cognitive load is lessened, or at least it's metered out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe you hit a puzzle and then the cognitive load goes bananas, but you can just ignore it and move to somewhere else. You know, it's fine.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I as a player, I'm more passive and reactive.
Yes, that's
I don't
that
feel
is
like,
a thing.
I don't
That-
feel like you always have been.
It depends.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean, maybe right
Like,
now.
maybe a
I
different phase in your life.
Yeah, who can say? I mean, like my personal life right now, just things are busy with work and things are crazy, and I'm just like, hey, at the end of the day, I just want to play this game and zone out. And like even at nights where we're playing together, sometimes I'm just like, oh, this seems really hard. I wish I could just be playing a video game and not be thinking about anything.
Yeah, because, okay,
And that's just life.
there are lots of different role-playing games, some of which we've played that are like this, where they are heavy cognitive load.
Mm-hmm.
Like, every second of play, you have to be constantly thinking of things, like, creatively. And that can sometimes just be tiring, and you're just not, you're not into it.
Yeah.
I feel that way DMing Apocalypse World. I find DMing Apocalypse World would be horrible.
I can
Not
see
because
that.
the game is bad. I just personally find it like a burden
Yeah.
because I feel like its procedures and stuff make it that way. Not that it's bad. I love the game, but I get that from the DM side on certain games. But not in other games. Like Poison, I could just run that off the top. And Dogs in the Vineyard, same thing. Whatever.
Yeah, I think that's how I felt about it for a couple of sessions. I think when we first started, I had a clearer picture of kind of how I wanted to play, and then I kind of lost it. So at this point, I feel like I need to circle back around and be like, what I really want for this character. What's my end game? I kind of had a reactionary like, oh yeah, he's going to react like this to most scenarios. I think it was kind of maybe under my burdens or whatever. But then after that, I was like, okay, no, I don't really know what I want anymore. And that's on me to really think about.
Because you want him to be deeper than just like a jock type character. You want him to have more substance.
Yeah, and I mean, I have some ideas of things he could struggle with, but I think I've at this point failed to figure out how to implement that into those trauma times, I guess we have.
And that's the thing. So I'm adapting to this too because I'm trying to make it a very flexible structure so that people who... So, okay, backing up. There are some people who prefer certain modes of play. Like, some people love that creative load constantly. Some people don't. Some people like Dungeon Challenge. I mean, there's a whole literature on this. But I want this game to accommodate everybody, which requires certain trade-offs, i.e., when we're getting used to it, there's going to be friction and figuring out how to make it work for you. I think we're getting there. But yeah, so on nights when you're not feeling it creatively, I want you to just be able to say, let's just go to that dungeon. So tonight we get to go to the dungeon. I think it made some people at least more happy. I enjoyed it because I enjoy everything. So I'm not hard to please on that.
Everything?
Yeah.
Huh.
So I enjoy every phase of play. So if you guys are just like in your rooms, and no one's done this, but describing what your bedroom would be like, because this is prompted by a G Plus thread from this week from Jack Shear, where he said in his game, the characters were just describing what their bedrooms are like. And I'm like, yeah, that's great because you learn a lot about the characters and things like that. And I had just seen an anime episode where they go and like have a competition to whose room was the best decorated. And it was filler in a sense because there was no progression of the character arcs that were known, except for like a tiny one. But I enjoyed it, and my wife enjoyed it, just because we got to know more about the characters, whom we all liked in the first place. So anyway, I like all that stuff, and to me, Dungeon Academy is just letting you do all that stuff. So if you want to just hit dungeon, that's fine. If you want to like not hit the dungeon at all, like I said, I originally designed it so this game didn't even have dungeon crawls. It was just the characters did it, but it was off screen. So I'm good with everything.
Yeah, and I've thought before, and I still kind of imagine sometimes that this game could be structured in a way so that there's like dungeon challenges, like structured courses or something like that, so that each one is like a one shot, and you do like a series of one shots that have drama before, drama after, and like dungeon in the middle, like every single time, and the dungeon is timed or something, so that you always will wrap it up. Okay,
That's how I originally, like 2 Dragon Cons ago. That's how I had it envisioned. But because of lore reasons, and also because of my preferences, I decided to actually have a mega dungeon, which you guys haven't even been in yet.
We're not in the mega dungeon right now.
Not in the mega dungeon right now.
not even like on the side entrance.
Nope.
Oh,
I mean, that's meta, but no, you guys are not even in the dungeon yet. You're in a dungeon. Actually, you're just in a lair.
yeah, and that.
I mean, it's like, in a way, you could be like, oh, we're not even to the point yet.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter where you play. That's not the point. The point is not to clear the dungeon. That's not the objective of the game.
yeah.
Like, you can still get treasure anywhere. Anyway, all this is fine. I'm having fun prepping it. And I'm finding by the way, tonight I used to generate some of the dungeon layouts, but not all of them. A tool called Dungen, Dungen. it's great for creating small layers and stuff. Because a problem with a bunch of maps you'll find pre-done on the internet is they're really linear and boring in like one level. But this one creates like different height levels, so you've got vertical levels as well. But they're all just described with lines and like nodes and edges, so it's easy to track. It's very good. You should definitely use it.
That's a great name.
I see what it did with Dungeon.
Yeah.
I also would like to see someone come out with Dungeon, Dundjinn.
There is one, Dungeony.
Okay, good.
It's been around forever, but it's gross.
Oh.
It's like a tool that you download. It's like an executable, and it allows you to create like paint tiles. Ain't nobody got time for that. Dungeon allows you to say, I want, or you can specify nothing and just let it do its thing. Or you can say, I want kobolds with a theme of mines and caves. Generate. And I want this I want this level for like difficulty of monsters and treasure, and I want this treasure multiplier. So this has less treasure than you expect or more. And then boom, one button. Then you can you can like drag around the rooms, and it like there's like this web that's sticky and springy in the web interface. So you can just take a picture of the map and copy and paste the key.
Yeah.
And you're done. It's really great for like little one things. But for the mega dungeon itself, I'm generating it all by hand.
Okay.
Anyway.
So it's a custom mega dungeon.
Yeah.
Custom.
And when I find like treasure and stuff in the generated stuff, I'm usually customizing it.
Yeah, and I guess my idea there would be to make sure that there's always, I guess, something really good to do. There's no going to mega dungeon and it like falling flat or something, which could happen a lot. When nothing really happens that's all that interesting, and then we still have to wrap it up with some drama on the other side. Because I really like that idea. I like actually like concluding a session each time. I think it's a great way to handle it. But like tonight, it's possible it could have just ended kind of a weird place. No real opportunity for treasure. We kind of break to like talk about rules and stuff. So I don't know. My 2 cents.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know where the treasure is in this dungeon, and not far from it. Just meta. You get the After Dark bonus of knowing that. But you're right that absolutely in traditional games, like old school games, you can have an entire session where you don't get any XP, no treasure, and then the session's over. That's totally possible. Mm-hmm. So you definitely don't want to do that in a situation where you've got a one-shot. So I think old school games, you should not do them as a one-shot in the same way that you would do a campaign play. But since this is a campaign play that we're intending to do over several like mini sessions, I don't have as much of a problem with that because everybody knows that the next session you can go and pick up where you left off, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Now, tonight we did something a little different. Normally, 15 minutes before the session ends, we say that the characters are convoluted back into the real world, and then they have their little wrap-up scenes where we figure out who got the most treasure out of all the teams in the dungeon and that kind of thing. And we have like concluding scenes that day, and then the next time we play, we'll kick off with the rest of that week. But today we didn't do that. We did a little something different. And we left off in the middle of the dungeon. That's not a problem fictionally, because if we have different players next time, we already have established that there's a way fictionally for new characters to enter, which is convolution, where it's just people just get zapped in, because you're all at the same time in the same dungeon, but different instances of it, but there's like leakages between them. So that's how we account for that. So it's not a problem actually for us to end in the dungeon. So I think from now on, we'll just end wherever we end. If you guys end in the dungeon or get TPK'd, that's fine. We'll just end there. Or you get back with your loot.
It's helpful for me, at least, when maybe just if I'm too tired to keep going, or other people need to leave, to accommodate that. Be like, all right, we're all here. We can just end it here, as opposed to trying to force it and then having people miss out on things.
Yeah, because they can just say, okay, because we always do a recap when we start. And so if there's new people, we can just say, last time we did this and this and this, and this is where we left off. Mm-hmm. Keep going.
And I think there's some times where it just makes more sense to be like, okay, well, let's just stop right there.
The reason why I was doing what I was doing is because, have you guys heard of the West Marches?
Sounds familiar, but I can't say I know.
So it was, who's that guy? Ben something. Doesn't matter. You can look it up.
Green?
Nope.
Stein?
Nope.
Stiller?
Nope. More Bens.
Netanyahu?
Ben 10. No, none of those guys. So he runs a blog called Ars Ludi, the art of play in Latin, because he's fancy. He's a fancy boy. And He ran a game called the West Marches, which was open table. Everybody, he's just going to run a game on X date, and whoever shows up, shows up. And the idea is that you have a border town that you're from, and then you go into the wilderness and find whatever you find. And then at the end of the session, it's presumed that everyone returns. So that these new people, you don't know if you're going to have the same characters as the last session, can start from the town and go out again, right? But I don't need that fictional justification because this is an illusion. It's an illusionary dungeon.
We believe it's an illusion.
Yeah, that's what you believe. That's what you are led to believe.
You thought.
You thought?
Yeah, and I guess I guess it depends what you want the focus to be. I just, I guess if we wrapped up like some kind of dramatic arc every time, it would serve Dungeon Academy very well, I guess. Whereas we could just like crawl around in a dungeon close to 4 hours like every time, and maybe not do any Dungeon Academy hardly. So that's I guess that's kind of what I'm thinking is like structuring it in a way. And again, it would take some work to do like dungeon challenges or something that would be an increasing difficulty, like a lesson or something. But I think it'd also be fun with the Dungeon Academy structure, like around those lessons, and the lessons be a structured part, and it's all going to be 2 hours, and you get an hour before and an hour after or 30 minutes after or something to wrap up your character's dramatic arc around that lesson. I don't know.
And that is exactly the initial vision that I had for this, which is more like a story game.
Yeah.
Where like it's prescribed, like there's this dramatic thing that's going to be dealt with, and you set it up at the start, then there's dungeon period, and then you resolve it however it's resolved, influenced by what happened in the dungeon at the end. Every session.
Do you feel like there's too much pushback from us?
I don't know. I mean, there was. But that's not probably the reason that I stopped it. It's just that I wanted something that was freer. Yeah. So that you could actually explore the whole thing or not. I mean, you can still do whatever you want in Dungeon Academy.
It's really healthy to have boundaries because then you can move more freely within those boundaries and not know if you're falling off an edge or doing something meaningless or something. So that's all, I guess.
What is meaning?
Exactly.
Meaning is what you make of it.
Yeah. So, yeah, it could be that we waste a lot of time doing, like, not interesting things. I don't know. And if you...
Don't waste time doing not interesting things. That's my advice to
I
you.
blame the other players usually. I mean, usually I'm trying to keep it interesting.
But what if they're interested in that? Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Like, everything we were doing was interesting to me. It was diving deep into the dungeon and exploring it.
That's...
and figuring that out and mapping it out, writing it down on my paper with this map. And that's, I guess... It's not always interesting to me, but this time it was. It's like I don't know.
Which maybe brings up the blood pool system. I don't know.
Wait, I'm not done with this.
Okay. Oh.
I'm not done.
Time to fight.
Yes. So people are going to be interested in different things. There are different kinds of players. And even the same player can have varying and shifting interests session by session and game by game. And so you and I think Jim... Oh, I keep on hitting this thing. I gotta stop hitting this.
Get your hands off
filter.
that. Get your hands off the thing.
Oh my word!
Stop it!
Suck.
I'm gonna keep that in. It's fine.
We're doing all your memes for you. You're not on the meme board.
You thought,
right?
Man, my meme game is like really weak right now. I was even on the wrong thing. That's ridiculous.
Suck.
Where's my suck? I don't even have my suck up right now.
Episode title: I don't have my.
Where's
suck
my
up.
suck? I don't even have my. Meme.
That's really sad. Where is my suck?
Insert meme.
I found it.
Suck.
There it is.
Suck.
There it goes.
Let's record a better suck.
Okay.
Suck. I need an
right.
echo.
Thank you. So, no, I'm gonna.
Okay.
hear you.
Please, hit me with the echo.
Everybody, be quiet. Let Jim suck.
Suck.
That was good. I enjoyed that. Yeah, okay. So I don't even remember what we're talking about other than people are different, and even on different nights, people are different, and their interests vary.
You're about to make an example of me and Jim.
Yeah,
Oh,
what did we do? What the heck?
I think Jim has been wanting to get to the dungeon,
I don't know.
even though he's been not wanting to get to the dungeon and doing other things.
He's been doing lots of RP,
Listen,
and tonight he was
I'm
all
playing
about
a character.
Tonight he was like, "We're here to get the treasure. Where's the treasure? Everything else we're doing is dumb. Why are we not getting
Yeah,
the
because you
treasure?"
guys are playing this game like it's real life. And
And then Tim, I think he by revealed preference has been wanting to get to the dungeon because he enjoyed this where he hasn't enjoyed previous ones. Yes.
And that's more so because of...
Doesn't matter what it's because of.
Yes, okay.
Okay, it's just the fact.
Sure.
And John, I think he's been just having a good time. He's been investigating mysteries. He's been doing this kind of stuff, and he's enjoying the dungeon. If I were playing, I would probably be more interested in stuff happening at school, but I would enjoy the dungeon as well. I'd be wanting to get into all kinds of high school drama as well as school stuff. And the idea is that people can do all this stuff and everyone will just be polite and let it happen.
Mm-hmm.
But like we've covered before, you can't focus on too many pillars of the experience. I don't think that it's healthy because
you can't have everything at once.
exactly. And so if you have something that's just so free form, it can do whatever. I feel like it's so unfocused that no one really feels served by it.
Okay, well, let me make a distinction here. It's not free form. It's just liberal, okay? Because people are allowed to do particular things, but there is a structure overall. It's not like, I don't know what happens now. I don't know. Because there are games like that are extremely free. This is not that, but it does let you just follow the interests of your character or of you as a player, as if you were playing a single-player game, like a PC game, set in the same setting.
But with multiple people. Yeah, so that's
but you have
those
to
two different
coordinate
things.
I know that, but you have to coordinate among. Yeah. So that's the thing. I'm trying to have a latitudinarian.
You're like, dang it! Come on.
Trying to have a latitudinarian perspective here, but yet maintain some cohesion.
Okay, so what I'd love to see is discipline, because this is actual school, and I would love to see 1 hour of role playing, and everyone is role playing. Dang it! And then 2 hours of dungeon crawl.
But Jim, what if people don't like role playing, so they're just bored for 1 hour?
We're just going through the school, and there's always a school thing that's happening or something.
Because that's totally possible. Because we did that before, and you hated it.
Did I?
Yes. Do you remember when we went period by period and Jim hated it?
I don't think I hated it.
Didn't like it?
No, I just
The truth is in the silence.
I don't think hate's the right word.
Loved less.
Loved less. That's true. Loved less.
Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I liked not that as much.
because it seemed so endless. Like it could carry on just the whole session, and be only serving one person at any given time, and maybe not serving them that well. I don't know.
But isn't that up to them?
I don't know.
Are they just dumb? I think people can be dumb. But if you're not having fun, just skip your thing that's not fun.
I mean,
yeah, but
last time I just sat there for 45 minutes while Luna had her little affairs with
so Jim was just wasting your time?
No, I mean
during the 1 hour of RP?
I mean, I let it happen.
Was it an hour?
He's having his fun, and I got nothing. So
you're watching an anime. You're watching a show.
I'm here to let it happen.
So yeah, I guess that's kind of what I mean. Yeah, it's like watching a show.
But isn't that the case with every multiplayer game?
I don't know. I don't think so.
If we're playing Apocalypse World and I'm like, okay, basketball head, soccer face goes into your room with a gun and he says, "Give me your money," and no one else is in the room, then it's just about you. And maybe you have a conversation with him and it lasts for 15 or 20 minutes. And this whole scene lasts a long time. And nobody's there and nobody has the move that lets them just intrude.
But who said anime was good?
It's not necessarily just anime. Apocalypse World is what I'm talking about right now.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, no, I totally get that. I guess Apocalypse World, I don't know. I
mean, the same thing can happen where one player has a spotlight for an extended period of time. That can always happen with any RPG unless they have rules specifically to prevent that. Which could be good, but
it could be good, couldn't it?
There's always trade-offs because that also means that you exclude scenes that are plausible and perhaps also powerful where that exact thing would happen, where the character is isolated for this time.
I guess, okay. So even in the time when we were marking class by class by class, I guess I would like it to be more structured in terms of the content, not in terms of the schedule. I don't know if that makes much sense, but to ensure that the content is actually interesting in some kind of dramatic way or something, and not just
you realize
this is what I'm doing.
There's going to be 4 classes a day, 6 days a week. That's 6 times 4. That's 24, right?
Yeah.
But then there's actually 6 periods a day, not just
Yeah.
6 classes. So that's 36.
That's a lot. Yeah.
And then another one before dungeons, so 37.
Yeah.
So the default action was just a check for an encounter. And then if no encounter, so then the encounter, if the encounter happened, but if no encounter happened, just a small sentence of flavor text. And that was the procedure.
36 times?
37 times. And then the dungeon.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, is that what you want? Is that what you want in
No.
your life? Okay, then. All right.
No,
well, that's why we're not doing that anymore.
So that's why, if you look at this thing, like this, for instance, could be good, like very good. Okay. And we have like moves in a sense. So the current form of the character sheet has things like crush on someone, vow vengeance, solve a mystery, help someone, hurt someone. Okay. And those could be like even more structured, I guess, to help you determine their outcomes. What was that noise?
There's a cat somehow showing up on our mics. This is amazing.
Wow.
It is after dark, so it's staying in.
Anything could happen.
Okay, roll tide.
So anyways, all I mean is that these could be formalized more like Apocalypse World moves
But
why? No, for the reason that they could be resolved more quickly and in a more like black and white kind of way.
We didn't even use one of them tonight.
No. But that's why I want to make sure we're allowing time to do that also. That's why
We
I
do
want
allow
to do
time.
this stuff.
We do allow time to do that. That's what the board is
we
for.
have to. No, but what I'm saying is that it's so unstructured. It could be like anything.
It's
I
not
guess, for
unstructured.
us.
It's structured.
I
I say
the actual content is not structured.
it is
I
structured.
guess.
I say, do you want to do anything before the dungeon?
Yeah, and we could pick anything.
If it's on your burdens list, yes.
That's what I'm saying. It's too much.
That's not too much.
If
Well-
it's on a burdens list. Okay.
Well, what
so
would
that,
be-
that's limited in some way.
So my question would be, Jim, like, what would be an example? What you mean?
So
Like,
so you could limit it to like a small number of options. Like it could be interact with another PC. Like have a scene with another PC. Have a scene with an NPC. Have a scene with yourself or something like that.
Okay, but that's 3 other options that are also
That's all I mean.
generic.
Yeah, I know.
And then how does that help you? You're just going to be looking at them and be like, ugh. So the ones I gave you on your dashboard that have emojis, because
Yeah.
this is 2019, are reactions to things that happen. So if you don't know what to do,
Reactions?
yeah. If you look
So
at
not
the-
actions.
Correct. Think about it. They're reactions to things that have gone on before or are going on right now to help you play reactively. So you can crush on someone, upgrade your relationship with them. You can vow vengeance. You can investigate a mystery, which is a reaction to
So
the
I
mystery
haven't
having been
heard it
revealed.
framed like as a reaction then, because that's kind of different. That is bounded already.
Well, all
based
reactions
on-
are actions.
No, you could just go create something on the campus is what I mean, and I've seen those kind of scenes happen where people just say, "Oh, I want to go do this thing," because it's not really a reaction. I guess it's.
But what are they doing?
Something boring usually. I don't.
Well, why are they doing boring stuff?
I don't know. It's not
Ask
my
them.
fault.
Just ask them why they're doing boring stuff. It's not my job to ask them why they're doing something.
We should say, "Time out. Get out of here."
I mean, yes, I can literally say, are you doing something that falls under A, B, C, or D? But I'm trying to respect the people enough.
Shh. See,
to
that's your
think
problem.
that they're doing something that they find interesting. Because there's, in drama mode that we've been playing in, there's no mechanical reason to do anything. Like, there's nothing that prevents you. There's nothing that will hurt you if you just say, I don't care about anything that happens this week. I'm going to the dungeon. There's no downside to that mechanically. You're not going to be worse off. So the only reason you would ever do anything in school is because you find it interesting.
Yeah, and I mean, there could be a middle ground where you say, in general, what did you do this week or something.
But who
like
cares
that.
if it's not
That's
interesting?
I know. That's
Because
what I'm saying.
we
It's
go
not
around,
interesting.
we go around the table and be like, "What'd you do this week?" I guess I read some books. Okay, well, what'd you do? And then we've got 8 players, and they're like, "Well, what'd you do?" Then what? And then it's like 30 minutes later, and we've not done anything.
Yeah, and another way to handle that would be to again to make it DM facing, like what is actually going to happen, and then have everyone react to that thing. So the DM says, "This is what is happening this week. This is what's occurring."
I already
And
do
that's-
that.
Yeah, no, but I haven't seen that. I guess it's been.
I
More
mean, you
like
have seen
player
that.
determined.
No, you have seen that. I
There's
have
been a few things.
Yeah, well, if I do something like every period, then we're back to like period by period. So
Yeah.
I only do a couple of things.
Like one thing a week is fine.
Yeah, I do 1 to 3 things per week, with 3 probably at the maximum. So like,
And maybe you
when
strip the player's will away entirely. That's a good way to structure it.
when you get out of the dungeon, there is one thing I know for sure that's going to happen. And actually, did I say in this episode that Tacitus got in trouble?
No.
Because he wasn't here, so I didn't bother with it. But yeah, he got in trouble. He got taken to the principal's office for getting into the grate. But he wasn't here, so it doesn't matter. Nobody cares.
It's true.
But so those reactions to things that have happened previously, those happen, and they're determined by me.
Yeah.
And then this other event that's going to happen when you guys get out of the dungeon, I already have it on my agenda. It's going to happen, then you guys react to it. So this kind of stuff is going on.
Yeah, we just didn't have that structure tonight because last play session we decided, hey, we're just going to start with the dungeon tonight.
That's right.
And normally a normal session of play, according to you, would be like
Entire week.
yeah, entire week. We do have those things. We do dungeon.
Then we end in the dungeon.
And then we end the
either-
dungeon.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you always
we
have
wrap it up.
those points that we can react to and things like that.
And then decide either to come back or to stay in the dungeon.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of an NPC in that I find it hard to just do a thing because I find it's interesting rather than having some sort of mechanical incentive to do it.
You may be an NPC
Yeah.
IRL.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
That's what I mean. So if you have a very narrow list of choices, like a very very narrow path in which you can walk, and you're made to walk that path in some kind of way over and over and over, that could be a way to structure that to make sure that NPCs are also involved, I guess.
I mean, they are involved. I mean,
and to also ensure that boring stuff doesn't happen.
well, that's the thing. If I don't incentivize boring stuff to happen, it will happen less often, all things being equal.
Yeah.
If I don't incentivize people to do stuff they're not interested in, they will generally not do it. It doesn't mean that you won't. Well, it doesn't mean that you will be interested in people. Wait, let me try that one more time. It doesn't mean, there's so many negatives, that you will be interested in the things that other people are interested in doing. There we go. I got it that time.
Sure.
Because we saw tonight, okay, so John, his character Nike, has a crush on Phoebe, another character in your class, Jim, in Luna's class, in Dracophon Stars 1B. She lost her dog. She's blind. It's her seeing eye dog. And he believes that that dog is down in the sewers.
Yes.
Whether that's true or not, I'm not going to say. But he had reasons for doing what he was doing. It made sense to him.
He has a crush on Phoebe.
Yes. And so the things he was doing were interesting to him as a character and as a player, because he's that character's player, obviously. Now, whether you guys were invested or not, that's another issue. You know, there's no way to force that. But a thing you can do is you can always ask people why they're doing what they're doing. Mm-hmm. I knew that, so I didn't ask. But maybe I should have.
I was not there, so I did not ask.
That's true. You were a sleepy boy by then. Mm-hmm. You weren't up to the after dark echelon.
Was not.
No. So I understood that, so I didn't ask. But one reason I ask for inner monologue occasionally is just so that everybody gets like reset to the same page to understand why people are doing what they're doing and to get inside the heads of the various characters. Because you've got a lot on your head. On your head. That's not an English expression.
You got a lot on your head.
On your mind.
In your mind.
In your head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like looking at your blood pools and rejiggering your inventory and this kind of stuff. You're not always concerned about everything that's going on. So that's one reason I do that. Fair. But I don't know. There are contradictory impulses that I don't think will ever be resolved, and I'm just making an arena in which they can live, and I'm trying not to incentivize the worst of the impulses.
Which are?
Incentivizing people to do stuff they don't care about for points. I've done that before. It's bad. Like, okay, so I want dramatic things to happen. So one way to get those to happen is to incentivize them with metacurrency, right? You get bliss, you get inspiration or whatever. People will just fish for that, even though they don't really care about it, and even though it's not really warranted. So if they think they'll get bliss for playing up their traits, they'll just do it in a like ridiculous way. And they'll say, well, I'll play up my trait so I get inspiration. Even though their character wouldn't in real life do that or to that degree. Like if they're concerned about justice, they wouldn't go around just like punching random people who say bad words on the street or something like that. That doesn't make sense. But they're just doing it for the bonus because it's, and for the lulz. And so not incentivizing that will reduce that behavior. And if, I don't know, it doesn't make them be interesting, but I can't make you do that. And then also leave the structure to be free, which I also value.
Yep.
Yeep.
It's a thin line to walk.
Yeah, we've
But
talked
I
a lot
get it.
about this, about the different modes of play, and leaving them too free. I don't know. It's I still think it's a dangerous proposition. That's all.
Yeah, people can do boring stuff. I think if you are bored by what somebody is doing, you should just tell them that. Like IRL. Like, why are you doing this? What's the point? And then maybe they can be like, oh, so here are the responses. Oh, yeah, I don't know. This doesn't make a lot of sense. Okay, that's one. And the problem is resolved. Or, oh, I'm offended. And we tell, hey, stop being that way. Be an adult. And then
And then I lay down my X card and it trumps.
And
their
then you lay down
concerns.
your X card. Okay, so then that problem is resolved. The other way is, oh, it's for this reason. Okay, they give a reason. The reason is either understandable, and you're like, oh, okay. Or the reason doesn't make sense, and you're like, that doesn't make sense. And then you can say, well, it's still dumb. And they can say, I don't care what you think. That's fine. So that's the worst case scenario, is they give a reason that they're doing what they're doing that you don't agree with, but they still find compelling.
Mm-hmm.
I'm willing to put up with that. I don't know. Unless it's like weird and gross.
And what about like other aspects, like the person who wants to be very finicky while exploring?
Like exploring the dungeon?
Sure, anything. So they want to know every single detail about the library, for instance.
That's fine, because there's wandering monster checks.
But if it's an actual library,
That's fine. There's wandering monster checks.
Should let them. That's
If you- if
but
your
what if it's not in the dungeon?
Well, they can spend all the time in the library they want. That's
a
not.
game of imagination.
That doesn't count as a
Should we
thing.
still whack them?
It's fine.
Is it
Like if they have an actual burden, it has to be about something in particular they've written down, and then I'll have them make a check, and then we'll be gone. We'll be done.
Maybe that's the pressure point then, is to ensure that we have burdens and that those are the things that we act upon. And if we're acting otherwise, we should not be allowed to do that. We have to say actually what burden we're acting on.
Well, yeah, that's what I've been saying this whole time.
Yeah, but that's not. I don't think that's how it's worked out
Well,
necessarily.
y'all have to follow the rules, baby. I can't look at your character sheets 24/7.
Well, sometimes the rules shift a bit.
They've never changed once. I don't know what you're talking about.
Sometimes they have a little
I've
variation.
never once in my whole life changed rules.
Sometimes it's on the fly.
I resent these accusations against me. I never have been, nor will I ever be, a member of the Rule Change Party.
So I think then I hope we can agree on this. I think it would be most interesting. Okay, so maybe this is a point of agreement, to make sure that it's stated formally that you can take an action if you have a burden during the week. You can take a reaction to any action that happens, and that's it.
Yeah, that's the current rules as they stand today.
Like just now,
Yes. I mean, it already was.
we have to enforce it.
Well, just don't break the rules.
Enforce it.
Okay, well, just pay attention next time I say, do you have that written down? Is that a burden?
Yeah, I missed that a lot. I guess I don't know.
I don't know.
But
just
we'll
think-
have to review the tape. We'll have to fix it in post.
listeners, please review the tape. Then we'll be fine. Okay.
And that way it always makes sure something interesting. And then we have to make sure that, we have to make sure the burdens are interesting in some way. And that's it.
I want you guys to feel free to call out other players. I did it again. I gotta stop touching my mic. Call out other players if you think their junk is boring, because they may not realize that their stuff is boring even to them. Thank you, Jim.
We gotta get that drink.
Sometimes people are doing things out of some belief that it's obligatory,
Yeah, I agree with that. Like that's what's kind of expected of them.
but it's not. They're only obliged to do things that are interesting to them or things that I require them to respond to. That's it.
Yeah.
Roll Tide.
Okay. I think we're happy with that.
Blood pools.
Tim, are you happy? So you can take an action if it's a burden during the week. Otherwise, you can take a reaction.
Your character literally doesn't
to
care
anything
about
that
it.
happens. Yeah. Otherwise, any you can take a reaction to something that happens or something, but that's it.
And generally, your reactions will either create or act upon create a burden or act upon existing burdens.
And this is a list of reactions, and then that's a game.
That's a game.
Yep. That's much more structured, just like that.
It's exactly the same as it's always been.
I think I don't.
But actually doing it in practice.
I don't really care too much about the mechanics.
Tim, did you know that's how it was before?
Nope.
That's what I'm saying. Nobody gets that message.
Our last After Dark, John
It
was
doesn't really matter to
John
me.
was like, "That's exactly what Daniel's already been saying." No, that's exactly what Daniel said. I think that there's no way to know what anything means, and we're all
It's all
just
meaningless. And
we're all just sacks of meat, and just a bunch of electrons fizzing in our brains.
nothing but
Let's just kill ourselves.
meat bags.
And some of us have more electrons than other electrons, having bags.
All right, blood pools.
Yeah.
Jim hates them. What do you think, Tim?
I got nothing. I just didn't bother to. I listened to the episode, but I couldn't be bothered to really
To
put
think,
it all together.
To activate your almonds.
Exactly. I didn't. I could not. I was like, I said, I just like, this will all work out.
It all worked out.
And you said that you're basically keeping track of it kind of anyway.
I'm basically keeping track of it.
I was like, well, as long as he's okay with that, I'm okay with that, and I'll just not think about it, and it'll make my experience much more enjoyable.
There you go, roll tight. What do you think about it, Jim? And what way did you hate it?
It was just all bad. It was so bad.
It wouldn't matter to him.
I didn't bomb it tonight, thankfully.
If you didn't tell him about it and you were actually just doing it behind the scenes, he probably wouldn't.
The only reason I didn't throw up tonight was because I'd already listened and prepared myself for this. No, I'm just kidding.
What if I already did?
So I think that it is. I think it's exactly what I would want. I guess there's some kind of fiddly things with it that I guess need to be worked out to simplify the math and simplify the process a little bit, and like the record keeping. But I think it's a really good idea, and I like this the most. That you can fight things repeatedly, and the fights will go faster each time, and reflect your experience with those things. Looking at it like the numbers, I'm not sure that there needs to be a multiplier. I think it's kind of interesting just to record your damage, and when we talk about why you wanted a multiplier and all that, but the numbers work out with like the HP and the amount of damage you do and the amount of damage taken, and then still doubling it each time. I think still pretty well without having to do anything with multipliers and dividing it or something. But I understand that you want to keep a feeling of like, the OSR, like some classes advancing faster than other classes and those sort of things. But
So
I
yeah,
want to hear what you think about that.
in my blog post, which you can find in the show notes, I present several variants of the end and like an appendix. And one of the variants is not doing any multipliers and the GM tracking nothing. And so your blood pools only apply to you, the damage you take and receive, period.
Yeah.
Then not multiplied at all. That's it.
And they can just ask, hey, how many HP do these things have?
Yeah, and then that's your limit.
Yeah,
and that's all you
your
need
limit,
to know.
And you hope and you trust that players will just do the math correctly.
That's right.
And that I think that's pretty easy math.
I mean, it's very simple once you understand it, and once you do it like twice, you'll get it. But the only reason I didn't do it that way is because XP doesn't work that way. XP is averaged among the party, and then fighters typically don't get the flexible bonuses that other classes get, like wizards, where you can learn new spells and all this kind of stuff. They just literally keep fighting. So giving them a higher multiplier on the blood points they get allows them to advance faster at getting better at fighting, which is what they do. So that's the reason the default is to multiply the base points you get by your HD, which represents how good you are at fighting. Fighters have a higher HD than wizards, that kind of thing. But, I mean, you can change the math. You can double the initial limit. So right now we're setting the limit, i.e. you have to do this much damage or have this much damage done to you to a particular creature type to have your bonus against that creature type increase. Right now it's set as their default maximum HP, so kobolds have 5 maximum HP, so once you do 5 damage or have 5 damage done to you versus a kobold, you get +1 versus kobolds. You could modify that up or down. Well, not down, that's crazy. You can modify that up to 4 times, 5 times, 10 times, 2 times to make the progress slower versus
great
progress
to make the progress.
Yeah, I've been learning.
That's very European.
I've been learning too many languages at once. Thanks, Duolingo.
So yeah, so I'll say I feel like if you're gonna stay at level 0, like magic users don't really progress all that much.
You've already got a wand of fireballs. Fire bolts.
Completely different.
And there's more magic stuff you're going to find all the time.
Yeah, but I mean, in terms of my class progression, I mean, you could do the same kind of thing with magic stuff for, fighters or something. I'll just say that the fighter will already get better as he gets his skills and all that. And a level 1 fighter versus level 1 wizard, a level 1 fighter is always better in terms of damage.
But really, they're just going to get proficiency with weapons and armor.
Yeah, there are no
And-
skills.
And then just like, do they get second win in 5e at level 1?
No.
No.
Okay, so
To level 1 or level 2.
I think it's level 2.
but let's just go over the damage real quick. I mean,
Level 2, I think.
like so what kind of damage are you going to do with each swing of your weapon?
Depends on the weapon, but
Yeah, exactly. So
1d10
So if you do D10, okay, then that is
The max is
5.5 damage each attack.
plus
26.
3, let's say, for a
Plus
strength
3
bonus.
for your strength bonus. So that's
8.5
8.5 damage. And a magic user can't really do that each attack. And you can do that as many times as you want.
But you did like 12 damage per turn, though, because you were doing like acid splash. I mean,
But
not
the
every turn.
Average.
The average is probably
7.
like 6 per turn or 7 per turn.
Yeah.
until you find a
It's-
better
it's
magic
that-
item which does
Assuming I
better
hit is 7. But that's
But
depending
you're
on
way
the
more
monster
flexible.
stats.
And you can do stuff that doesn't have anything to do with combat, like open doors and create illusions and this kind of stuff.
If I get the proper scroll, which isn't
Yeah.
promised.
And then you can also learn it.
That's the risk of being your class, isn't it?
So maybe I can learn it, but those are things that we don't know about yet.
That's right. And I'm doing some kind of stupid stuff with clerics where they don't have anything good. But everyone knows that I love clerics the most out of all classes. So
That's
what's
true.
up with that? It's a secret. That's what's up with it. Just wait. Just wait. It's good. Don't worry about it. Anyway, so I'm totally flexible about how we implement blood pools, and even if we do blood pools at all. But I just wanted some way that you guys could get stronger without being level 4, so that you can challenge deeper levels of the dungeon without getting just TPK'd every time.
Yeah, no, and I think blood pools are a really good way to do that.
I'm actually surprised that you think that, Jim.
No, yeah, I mean you're gonna pretty quickly get to a place where the battles are a lot easier and a lot faster, and it's more survivable. And then it will level off after that. So doubling it like that, like making it logarithmic, I guess, or no exponential, I guess. I think makes a lot of sense. And
I think so too. I mean, that's
Yeah.
what I'm doing.
so I mean, it's based around how levels work, anyways. Usually,
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically.
but it turns out it's a really good way to do it. Okay, because it's like front loaded with like a lot of goodness, and then it takes a lot more work to get better than that. And I think that will serve us well. So we get some initial experience, we get really good at it. It's like the Pareto principle or something, but it's Dungeons and Dragons.
Roll Tide. I mean, that's the title of this episode. It's the Pareto principle, but Dungeons and Dragons.
Exactly. So it's just a very, very front loaded sort of effect, and that makes sense for what we're doing. Some concerns with it. Our experience with some monsters won't translate very well when maybe they should. So just like you said in the variations, like it should be probably more broad, like not just giant rats, but maybe beast or something like that. That's it. Those
Mostly,
sort
yeah,
of
and
things.
that's another variant listed in the blog post that I made, is like how you do the categories. Like you do it by the literal name of the monster in the monster manual, or you can take it by the type, like aberrations, or you can just be more kind of fuzzy with it, which that's my default, is just go with what feels right. So giant lizards are different from kobolds, so they have 2 different spots right now. But if we ever come against a thing that's like very similar to a giant lizard, I'm okay with like porting over some of the values. But
Yeah.
we don't have to decide that ahead of time, actually.
But this also opens up the opportunity to have like really a whole sort of campaign. I mean, with a real advancement at level 0 or level 1, or if you want even like level 3 or something as like the cap, and do it in an interesting way, I think.
Oh, that's something I hadn't thought about, is capping it at some point.
Yeah.
Although eventually it's going to get really, really big numbers.
Yeah. And so I guess that's what I mean by not being too specific, because like we may never really see a giant rat again. So our giant rat experience is useless, but our giant rat experience may translate to small rats or slightly larger
Yeah.
rats.
And then that giant rat experience always feeds into your general.
So
Yeah.
by default, does that blood pool always remain static and it's always building when you go in and out of the dungeon and stuff? Was that your intention, or is it like reset every time?
No, so you keep everything. You never subtract anything or erase anything. So you only ever get better at fighting things.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's a very gamey kind of progression too. I mean, their encounter powers, they are very powerful. They're very explosive kind of powers, so that very, very early on you're going to end the encounters with the same creatures much more quickly.
Yeah, and you can use them in defense or offense.
Yeah.
So you can like boost, like re-roll missed attacks or re-roll bad damage or boost damage that was good. You can do whatever you want with them, or reduce damage that was bad against you, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's meant to make things go fast and to represent you getting better at fighting particular things and in general.
And it also fits into the fact that this is a training school. I mean, you're not. It's not supposed to be necessarily at real time, I guess, like training up to some level. I mean, I don't know what you have in mind in the long term, but like this captures a lot more of like a variety of experience that I would expect from like a actual school, I guess. Like,
yeah, and the idea is that if you actually, I mean, there's no reason why you couldn't say these characters have graduated now, and now they're playing like real game. So we would graduate to CCQ, like, and then you guys would be able to keep all the experience you earned from like blood pools and carry it over into the real world. But you could actually die now.
Whatever that means. Carrying experience from blood pools.
would you still want to use blood pools
5e?
like in
Yeah,
standard 5e?
There's no reason you couldn't because they're separate. They're modular from XP, so you could keep using them if you wanted or not. But I don't
and they
see a
could
reason why you
potentially
wouldn't.
be game breaking even very early, I guess. Like when they're in a counter power and they let you re-roll a bunch of stuff. I mean, you can really, really punch above your weight, like way above your weight, if you have that.
That's fine with
then
me.
plus like a few like class powers. I mean, it gets pretty ridiculous pretty early. That's all I'm saying.
It might, but to me, I don't care because I never plan on anybody getting above level 3 in the world anyway. So who cares?
Yeah, and if you're gonna draw a level, like or pick a level to stop at, yeah, I don't know if level 3 is the best one. Maybe level 5.
Yeah, but whatever. But anyway, you can always change like the limits of the pools.
But what
on
is
the fly.
best?
I think what we're doing is okay for now, and we can just change it if we think it sucks.
I think the easiest thing would be to not have any class multipliers and just have a general pool, and that's a variation that is interesting and worthwhile. That's all.
Yeah,
and
that's
you
another
could run it
variation.
like alongside XP if you wanted to, and I think that's good. And XP could be tracked by gold, and you could fight to get blood points, and so you actually have two competing
Yeah, you could do
sort
that
of ways of advancement.
for sure.
And maybe blood pool is more. Maybe blood pool will be stronger actually. So just throwing that out there.
Yeah, could be. Anyway, is there anything else you guys want to talk about? I think we all are kind of the same mind on everything now.
I'm glad we agree about everything.
Hive mind.
And I'm glad you made it like not consumable. I guess like it, like you don't build up the points and then they're gone or something like that. But that's a way you could have done it. I mean,
Yeah, but I think fictionally it wouldn't make sense for it to be that way.
yeah, you could have made like the limit always 5, and then just divided that 5 over and over and over and over again, and build up points that you could expend.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yep. Then I don't know.
I mean, it's more complicated to like do the math, but the math isn't that hard because like it's multiplying by 2 and adding 1. So I think we can do it.
So, Patreon. That was on my list.
Patreon. What do we? People are getting off of Patreon because they're upset about other people getting kicked off Patreon for certain views. But if Patreon kicks us off for doing dank D&D casts, I guess that's just the way it is, right?
Yeah, I think we'll
Guess
live. I think we'll do okay.
I guess we'll have to continue
I'll
with
have to-
our
I'll have to
day
get my day
jobs.
jobs. Yeah, I'll have to like pick up that programming job and get back in the office.
have to focus on that.
Right now, it's just $30 a month. I'm just living it up in the Bahamas right now. So
I mean, it'll be a big hit, but we'll persevere.
we'll persevere. Listen, without without our Patreon money, we couldn't do any of this.
No,
I'm
no.
pretty sure-
What he means is that we're so happy to have Patreon money.
We are very happy to have Patreon money because it actually saved us quite a bit of money that we didn't have to spend out of our own pockets on this audio equipment that we now have.
And I feel like it justifies our existence.
Yes, money in
Our
general
effort.
does that. Money justifies the existence of everyone. And the more money you have, the more existent you are, the more being you possess ontologically.
Like, you're thick with being.
Yeah.
When you're thick with
Thick.
money. When your
So-
wallet's thick.
Bill Gates and Elon Musk are very thick boys.
They are more real than we are.
They are more real than us. Oh, that's what I've learned in my life. And George Soros.
So, gosh, are there any hot controversial topics right now that aren't politics or religion or sex.
Is that
So
possible?
so I think what an interesting podcast would be to to parallel Dungeons and Dragons and sex.
I wouldn't know anything about that since I'm a virgin, not a Chad.
You have at least one child.
I still live in my parents' basement, so
Well, the internet says.
the internet says I've procreated.
I've heard on the internet.
Well, I guess it's right then. No, we're not going to do a D&D and sex podcast, I don't think.
No,
that seems bad.
I guess when I hear you talk about people liking different things and everyone taking their turn and things like respecting other people, like kind of consenting to them, like taking the time.
Wait, what does consent have to do with sex?
Okay, should probably edit that out. Actually, just edit the consent part. What does boop have to do with sex?
I mean, we live in Alabama. I mean, maybe this is from like foreign parts. These
then
ideas.
watch Zach S flip out.
Zach S is getting bleeped,
And
so
he's
that's fine.
and watch him like flame our blog post.
Yeah, sure. He'll
like
get it.
infinitely.
He'll get his Russian trolls to.
He's gonna
to
like flame
hack our
he's,
website.
he's going to flame, and he's gonna flame himself, and then flame himself like just indefinitely down in a single thread.
You know,
Like argue with
okay,
himself.
This does, even though I'm bleeping out
Yes,
all the previous things we said,
he took the hook.
this does bring to mind an issue in the
Issue.
in the DIY D&D scene, which is people getting super triggered over people they don't like. Listen, literally every social media platform has a function called block. Just block the people you don't like.
Take that mouse, take that left click, click it.
Click it.
But don't you realize that their toxic presence in our community
There is no community.
should not be tolerated because this is our hobby, and it's like my safe hobby. It's my safe place.
This the word
And
community.
you're ruining my hobby.
Community implies walls. There are no walls here. It's the internet.
Literally putting this.
So, because Daniel wants more. So, community is one of Daniel's big trigger words.
Yes, my cortisol levels have spiked 3 times already because that's how many times we said community.
Community. So, but if we're gonna have a hobby, we need to have communication. We need to have
when has your life?
standards
Listen,
we have to have standards of behavior.
when has your life ever been improved by talking with another human being?
Morals. So, but that's a big issue, man. And like, if like I love this hobby, and I love for people to be in it, and I love for people to bring like different stuff to it that like I wouldn't do or wouldn't think to do. I hate that there's so much conflict in it and so little direction.
I think people are
In this hobby.
weak and they just need to toughen up, hit that black button, and carrying on.
I mean, if there are people who are sharing the same hobby as you, but I guess are not the kind of people that you would want to hang out with or talk with because they say or believe things that you don't like, then just avoid those people and go find other people, or just do it yourself. I mean,
That's what I'm saying.
it's like when I play games online. Sometimes it's like, oh, well, I ended up playing with some people, and they are, in my opinion, very garbage people.
They're just
like-
shouting racial slurs.
Yeah,
all
I
the
mean,
time.
like
Yeah.
they're either just being dumb or they're being offensive or something. I'm like, well, okay, I'm just not going to play with these people again, or I'm going to play by myself.
No,
or
Tim.
I'm going to actively find people that
You have to quit Destiny now.
Yeah, I
'cause
gotta
the
actually-
community is too toxic.
I can't play this game anymore because clearly these few individuals are representative of the game as a whole, and yeah, I'm not going to get onto the.
That's nonsense. Listen, just dab on the haters. Dab on
I'm
them.
going to micro dab.
Micro dab on the haters.
Yeah,
That's what I say.
there's a mentality. I'm not going to put too many labels on it, but of certain kind of people who always want to just categorize things, and they never want to see people as individuals who are all unique and have different beliefs and approaches and experiences, and instead they just want to take a broad brush and then write off big groups of people and assume that they all believe the same thing or should be treated the same way. Oh man, we are having a refrigerator fiasco behind me.
But we're really listening. I mean, we're really listening.
I feel like I started to contribute, and then
so what you're saying is,
like, sorry.
You're trying to say that the community should be tolerant of individuals.
I think that if
judge people only as individuals.
I think people should be judged as individuals. And it's like, okay, one person says something, judge that person.
Mm-hmm.
Don't take a broad brush and say, well, all the people. This person who associates with these people, and therefore we should, say, well, all these people, should be judged in some manner. I know I'm trying to be kind of vague because
you have succeeded.
Yeah, I mean, you've done a great job.
Because I don't want to get too particular and.
So not naming any names.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but it kind of it kind of would go either way. I mean, you can be vague because it applies to any sort of view, really.
That's right. There are people on every side of whatever line that fall into this.
Yeah.
That's happened.
Yeah, and this, gosh, it might be just a crazy idea, but a lot of the most successful companies tolerated a lot of diversity of opinion and to grow their companies very quickly and to be very successful, to get a lot of good people on board, to foster a lot of creativity. And if you don't allow for a lot of differences, then you don't allow for a lot of creativity, I think.
Are you talking about weepings of the flamy heiress?
I'm not familiar with that work. Is that like a kink?
No, it's just it's a little known RPG company. Don't worry about it.
So I'll say there's space for weepings of the flaming heiress. Is that real? Is that real though?
I'm surprised you remembered what I said like 5 seconds ago.
Yeah. So is that real? Is that real though?
No.
You just made it up.
Well, that's the name of our RPG company now.
That would be the best troll ever. We're coming from you, Raji. And from you and for you.
Well, it's like, I mean, I'm not as into the crazy indie stuff, and you guys are into the scene. You keep up with it.
Yeah.
And I see some of the stuff from like Raji and other people, and I'm like, okay, I clearly have a completely different worldview from you, and some of the stuff you publish, I would not ever want to play or look at myself.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, but
he's a really interesting example.
But then I'm like, hey, you know what? Go do it. You are not hurting me by doing this. So as long as you've actively not hurt anybody with it, okay, I'm just gonna let you do your thing.
I haven't bought a Lamentations project in like years. I don't think.
Years?
The last so Veins of the Earth was not published by them, right? No. It was published by, or was it? Let's take a break. Fact check. Lamentations actually did publish Veins of the Earth. But to me, that's just like a Patrick publication. He could have published it with Seder Press or whatever. But still, other than Veins of the Earth, which I just got because Patrick did it, I haven't bought a Lamentations project in forever. Why am I calling them projects instead of products?
I don't know.
Who can say?
Maybe because I like to have a more arty perspective of them. They're not just products; they're projects. That's got to be it.
But is that really forever? Forever, ever? Forever, ever?
I don't like the typical Lamentation stuff. In other words, they've produced tons of stuff. Other than that,
You didn't like the Eldritch Cock thing?
no.
You didn't like the thing
all his
the Gwar band?
No,
You didn't
all
like
his
the-
shock jock stuff. I just don't have any patience for it. I like his old stuff, like Grinding Gear, Tower of the Stargazer, Hammers of the Gods. Love that stuff. And then I like Veins because Patrick did it. But
So yeah, I mean, this last year, according to James, of course, it was the most successful year that they've ever had.
I'm sure it is.
And it was like year over year. I want to say he said 20% higher than the previous year. So he's very successful doing what he's doing. I don't know how much of that depends on new things versus old things. I really don't know. But he was surrounded by controversy, and I think that there's room in the hobby for him for sure. I mean,
that's blown over now.
Yeah.
As far as the sales figures, one noted commentator was known to say, "Oh no, it's not plugged in."
Wait, time out.
Ruined.
Start over.
You should have never unplugged it when we were.
Why did I unplug it?
So I mean, it's already amazing that he can.
Wait, stop.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Concerning LOTFP sales.
Wait, no, you're laughing.
Concerning LOTFP sales, one noted commentator has said, "Nope, they didn't say that. They said this."
That's quite big. Impressive.
That's right.
But is that too quiet?
Yeah.
And
Okay.
What a
one more
bunch of
take.
amateurs.
One noted commentator has said,
That's quite big.
It is quite big.
"Yeah,
Impressive.
it is impressive."
Impressive.
But yeah, I just haven't cared about anything else because it's just not something that I will use.
But he's still selling the old stuff.
He's still selling the old
Yeah.
stuff, but I don't know how much of his volume is made up with old stuff versus new stuff. You know what I'm saying? Who can say?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that might be interesting to know, but I guess in this hobby, I wonder who we don't have space for. I guess I don't know. Like,
I have a rather large block list myself on G Plus of people. I mean, they're doing their own thing. I guess they find people that are their market, but I just cannot care about their stuff at all. I don't want to name names, but
No.
people who follow me at G Plus probably know. But yeah, and it's fine for me because I don't have any interaction with them.
Yeah, don't try to shut those people down and silence them. Just move along, do your thing.
yeah, as long as they're not hurting you
Yeah.
personally.
Well, no, that's the thing. You cannot silence them.
Yeah.
I think it's fine if you want to try to silence them. Just don't say things that aren't false. I can say this person is undesirable for reasons X, Y, and Z. Therefore, I have blocked them and don't buy their stuff.
Sure.
Okay, that's it. And I'm fine with that. And since I've done that, my feed has gotten exponentially better. So on G Plus, I probably publish to 600-700 people whenever I make a private post, right? But of those people, I don't see maybe half of their stuff in my feed because I just don't care about what they do. And I have various levels of hell that I put them in to indicate my disdain toward them. Because on G Plus, RIP, you can make different circles and put people in them. So the people I don't like go into circles of hell. And the people in the lowest circles of hell are just never getting out of there. But maybe the people in the upper circles of hell, I might revisit them at some point and say maybe the content has improved. But for some people, it's hopeless. They're in Satan's mouth.
Poor Google Plus. That paradise has been lost.
Yep. RIP. So I started, by the way, guys, check out reddit.com/r/artpunk. This was I don't think Patrick made up the term because I've seen it used in other contexts. But Patrick made a post, Patrick Stewart, in case you're not like a hipster, made a post about the art punk D&D aesthetic, which he is a member of for sure. And David McGrogan is, who did Yoon Suin and so forth in this scene. So I made a Reddit subreddit, and I'm the moderator of it. You have to be approved to post in it, but anyone can see it. It's got like 2 posts in it. It's like me and Rom right now. Rom, we love you. Don't let our earlier comments.
We actually do love you, Rom.
Don't let our earlier comments scare you off, baby.
Why are we weird?
You don't have to listen to our AP.
It's okay if you don't.
I know
listen to
we're
our
weird.
AP.
I know we're weird. I get it.
It's
I get
fine.
it.
We use your web apps quite frequently when we play not 5e.
I think it's important for a community at this phase in its development to have a lot of freedom of creativity and have space for weirdness. And I'm glad that you welcome us in and you love us.
Blessed Rom. Anyway, so check it out. Apply for posting privileges. If you're dope enough, you might get in. At the very least, you'll be able to subscribe. There's like 2 posts right now, but there will be more. Don't worry. It'll happen. But anyway, so yeah, after G+, it's going to be Discord, like the GG No Re Discord, to which you get access if you are a patron at GG No Re, patreon.com/GGNoRe. And other platforms, mostly Reddit, we think. Because you can't have a conversation on Twitter. MeWe's weird and has a stupid name. So that's just the way it's going to be. But let's not talk about this. We already had an episode about this.
Yeah, so but I think we're going to be more active on Reddit, and I look forward to that.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have any parting
Can you give your anime?
thoughts?
Can you give your anime recommendations?
Yes. Okay, so if you want something that's like Dungeon Academy, but for superheroes, instead of Dungeons, it's My Hero Academia. Yes, I know that's a very normie recommendation. Okay, everyone knows about BNHA, Boku no Hero Academia. Everyone knows about it, okay? But it's still good. My wife likes it, and she doesn't like anime.
It's part of the Appendix N of Dungeon Academy.
It definitely is. Although I didn't know about it when I started Dungeon Academy.
Whoops.
But subsequently, I've tried to incorporate more of it and more of just anime in general. Goblin Slayer is another thing. I've only seen like one episode, and it's kind of like too pervy for me. But the idea of it is really good. Somebody who only fights goblins, blood pools, still get stronger, roll tide. Any other anime recommendations? Other than Hellsing Ultimate, I don't have any right now, thank you.
I still really liked Fate Stay Night. That was like 2 years ago when I watched it.
I haven't seen the anime, but True Detective Season 3, it's legit.
There was like a D&D manual Easter egg. I saw a picture of that, but that's all I know about it.
Of course there was.
But don't spoil it for me.
No spoilers. All I'll say is that the mystery revolves around children, and it's just really traumatic. And you know that from the first episode. And it involves multiple timelines that unfold simultaneously to tell a story. And it's great. Great so far.
So basically Transformers 2, the TV series.
No, they've returned to their roots. So season 2 of True Detective was absolute garbage. But they've returned to their roots of like the multiple storyline, like storytelling of the unfolding of a murder mystery. And it's very good. So there you go.
Roll Tide.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have it?
Tim, I need to
What?
hear from you.
What?
I don't know.
He said Fate Stay Night 2 years ago.
Yeah, but not that. I need to hear something else.
I need you to speak
I've been playing
with conviction.
Dragon Quest 9.
Thank you. No, not 9, silly goose.
Oh, yeah, that's right. 11. Sorry, I swapped my Roman numerals.
Start again.
11.
Start over.
I've been playing Dragon Quest 11 on PC with the music mod to replace the garbage like MIDI synthesizer soundtrack that they put in there for some reason with the actual Tokyo Symphonic. I can't remember.
Was it from a previous game or something?
No, it's the actual soundtrack, the composition of it.
So they made a soundtrack that was symphonic?
Yes, but they didn't include it in the game.
That's so dumb because I have that game too and I played it and I'm enjoying the game, but the music is garbage and I turned it off.
Yeah, no. So I played it for a while and the music was just getting on my nerves. I was like, the opening scene they had this, and then in Dragon Quest 8 on PlayStation 2 they had a completely symphonic scoring or whatever for the soundtrack. On PlayStation 2, I was like, why is this not? So I Googled it and someone on Steam was like, yeah, here's a mod. Just drop it in this folder. Bam. They took the actual high quality live recorded stuff and put it into the game, and it's much better.
Do you need 11 of those? I mean, really?
Apparently, it's like one of the most popular, highest selling series in Japan ever. This is a series where like old ladies are playing this game, like in their 80s and 90s.
Why?
It's
know,
super
man.
chill, dude.
It is. It's very chill.
You don't have to be good at video games to play it. My kid loves it, although she hasn't played in forever. But you can just grind your way to the top.
It's pretty.
It's cute.
It's cutesy. It's goofy.
It's the
Times.
Dragon Ball guy did the art,
Yeah, Akira Toriyama.
which I hate.
I
still got
it's
it.
a unique style for sure. But yeah, it's interesting. But I'm enjoying it.
Pokemon Let's Go. It's pretty good if you got a Switch.
I'm no longer a Nintendo person. I have no Nintendo product.
Super Smash. It's good if you got a Switch. It's fun to play with other people. It's fun to play by yourself. It's a good game. I haven't been playing a lot of video games lately.
Nah, me neither. No.
Yeah, but when I do, it's with my fam. That's a good one. I've been wrecking my 7-year-old. She's like, stands no chance against me. I'm so good at video games. Oh my gosh.
That's funny because I like
I'm
playing
so
video
much
games by
better than
myself
you.
and not with other people. I guess while we're talking about random things, I downloaded that fan edit of The Last Jedi, and it was really good. It was much better, I think, than the original cut.
That's a low bar, sir.
It's very low bar, but if anybody has followed any of the stuff of why people did not like the movie, you should take a look at it.
So you watched it and you like legitimately enjoyed it?
I really did. I mean, I noticed the difference where they cut out a lot of the slapstick, goofy stuff, the tonal, to help with the tonal problems. They cut out all the Canto Bite stuff, all that subplot, and it just went so smoothly, which means they also cut out all the stuff where they're infiltrating the dreadnought or whatever that ship was.
Oh yeah,
with
so they cut
Rose.
out all that.
Cut out all that. They, like Captain Phasma's not even in the movie
Beautiful.
because
They need to give that
because
girl-
when they cut it out, I was just like, that literally made that the whole subplot made no difference
No.
to the end and the result. Like you cut it out and it makes no change. In
Oh,
the
that
actual story.
interview with whatever her name is,
Yeah.
where they're like, "What's cool about Captain Phasma?" She's like, "Well, she's got chrome armor."
Yeah.
Well, that's it.
That's a win for women.
Yeah, that's it. So yeah, just cut all that junk out.
Yeah. And
I did it again.
You're
I keep on hitting this
so unprofessional. Look
thing.
at you.
It's because I'm not used to this
That little
pop
loopy
filter
thingy.
thing. It's just very confusing to me.
Yeah,
Don't worry, I'll get used to it.
there you go. That's your brief insight into our nerdy hobbies other than this game we play.
Oh, last thing. Listen, it's January. It's getting close on February. February, we're coming for you. And then after February, then comes March.
But after March...
No, stop.
Oh.
Nothing matters.
Oh, no.
Sekiro.
Oh.
Shadows Die Twice.
Wait, is that in March or April?
It's March.
Really? Wow.
It's coming.
It's coming so soon.
It's coming.
Will be interesting.
It's going to be so good. We're going to be playing that new FromSoft game.
What does Miyazaki-san have for us?
Miyazaki-san is going to treat us. Treat yourself.
Treat yourself.
He says, katanas, treat yourself. Tantos, treat yourself. Ninja tools, treat yourself.
Fast-paced action combat.
Grappling hooks, treat yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Fake bonfires, treat yourself. It's going to be fantastic.
Before that, Anthem will come out, though.
But it's going to be garbage.
It's tricky. I played the alpha. We'll see.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Was it good?
It had a lot of potential, yes.
Well,
I mean, it was graphically, it was very impressive. I really liked how, because you have the option to fly in limited spurts at any time, it made combat pretty interesting when I kind of put those two together. Like, oh, this is not just a like an environment traversal thing. It's like, oh wait, I'm in combat and I'm shooting stuff like third-person shooter. I got my super power, I guess it was, for my mech suit was I can shoot a ton of rockets all at once. You know, it's on a recharge cycle. And there's all these dudes that started to surround me. And I was like, wait, I should just fly up in the air and just aim down and shoot at them and get everybody all at once as opposed to aiming in a single direction. And I did that, and it was awesome.
I thought you hated third-person shooters.
I usually do. This worked well enough.
So it's basically Fortnite, but with robots?
Yeah, Fortnite is
sure.
still a thing, and it's more popular than ever.
Sure. But it's BioWare. And
So
it
how
has
is
some
this
story.
different than... Well, Fortnite has a story. This GG No Re After Dark, I think, is crashing down.
You guys doing okay?
I'm all right.
I need to go to sleep because my 3 children are still going to wake up bright and early.
I'm doing all right.
They'll be okay. Daddy can sleep for 12 hours.
I'm doing all right.
Nope. Daddy cannot sleep for 12 hours because Mommy will not let Daddy sleep for 12 hours.
Maybe Daddy needs to take his sleep into his own hands.
Maybe it's time for Daddy to be a daddy.
Okay, so we're gonna
Y'all have a couple more kids.
we're gonna cut out
That's
here.
very suggestive. Sorry.
We're gonna cut out here for some relationship counseling about how to sleep for 12 hours on a Sunday. This is Gigi Nori, and I'm gonna cut out probably half of this episode,
No, there's a lot of good stuff in there.
maybe 80%, maybe 20%.
Yeah.
Okay, 20%.
This is the art of the deal.
I'm probably gonna
You start at 90%, and then you really wanted 20%.
Listen, 80-20 Pareto, right?
Yep.
So we're gonna keep 80%, cut out 20%.
But it's 100% entertaining and engaging.
20% of our content produces 80% of the entertainment.
Yeah. Except we cut out 80% of it, so it's 100%.
There's a lot of fractions going on right now.
And it is 1:30 a.m.
And is it really?
It is 1:30 a.m.
Actually, it's only 1:27 a.m.
You shut your mouth.
We've been recording so much of this. I'd love to talk some
So
more.
cutting out 80%
I mean,
is probably a good thing. So we've been recording for a long time.
like I feel pretty good to talk more. Gosh, I got a lot of opinions. So many opinions.
Well, that's
It's a
what
shocker.
Gigi Nuri After Dark is all about. It's about whatever. It's about opinion. It's about what happened. It's about what might happen. It's about what has happened. It's about what will happen.
And has not happened.
It's about what may have had happened.
Oh.
It's about what should have happened.
Should,
We
but
didn't
short.
mention should.
It's about the imperfect aorist subjunctive. I don't know if that's real.
The imperfect aorist subjunctive will be our new publishing. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, Gigi no Ri.
I mean, Gigi no Ri.
By which I mean Gigi no Ri.